Welcome back, everybody, to the Real Estate Talk Show. I have here in studio with me a really fascinating guy, and I am learning a lot. And I know we're going to get tons of questions after this, which is great, and we welcome them. So remember, everybody, visit realestatetalkshow.ca, or you can call our help desk at 844-ASK-RETS. That's 844-ASK-RETS. So I have here David Cook. He is a qualified, reputable home inspector with Paragon Inspections. What's key here is that he is explaining to us the fact that not all home inspectors are created equal. We talk this a lot when we're talking about contractors. We can say the same about lawyers, real estate agents. I mean, it goes with any industry, but most of those industries are heavily regulated. You have to be licensed. You have to go through articling phases. You have to prove your abilities. But here, when we're talking about home inspectors, it's not the case. So the organization that we need to at least give props to that's trying is the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors, right, David?
Yes.
And it's an important organization. Why?
The Ontario Association of Home Inspectors focus has always been on educating home inspectors, because that is one of the biggest things that we find today, and areas that I deal with is lack of education on not the client's part, but the inspector's part. So we want our inspectors, if they are going out, to have some sort of experience, but not only that, proper training. And many people, inspectors we'll call them, will not join the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors because they have the most rigorous requirements for inspectors today.
Okay, very good. All right. So we're going to get to that when we do this. You have a great checklist for people to ask their home inspectors when interviewing and deciding who to use. So this will be very important. But let's just continue for a second where when we're talking about the Ontario licensing program, I mean, there isn't one. So when will this come into effect? And is Ontario the only one that doesn't? I mean, are there other provinces that have stringent licensing for home inspectors? And we're just behind the eight ball in Ontario?
Currently, only BC and Alberta have licensing in effect, and about half the states, but Alberta found that their licensing system did not work. Okay. So they have gone back to the drawing board. They've asked the CSA, Canadian Standards Association, which is a private company, to come up with a set of standards for home inspectors. Ontario stepped up to the plate about 4 years ago and said that they were going to institute licensing, and they will have licensing ready for home inspectors by the fall of 2014. Whoops, I think they missed that.
Yeah, we've just kind of passed that, haven't we?
They have stepped out at this point. They've just stepped back. They're waiting on Alberta to finalize what they're moving forward will go. And so at this time, it's a minimum of 2 years before we will see licensing in Ontario probably. But at this point, it's anybody's guess as to what will come down the pipe. There is no plan of attack that is going to be, this is where we're going to head to.
And now how does this affect the consumer? At the end of the day, they're the ones hiring a home inspector to look after and give them advice and report on one of their biggest purchases of their lives. I mean, it's a big deal.
This is a very big deal. When you're dropping, houses in Toronto, there's nothing to drop $500,000, $750,000. You're not buying your brother-in-law's used Chevette for $50. You need to rely on somebody to get you the qualifications of a good home inspector. So if you don't know how to get to the website, which is ohi.com, ask
so so we should probably OAHI, which
yes.
stands for the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, I think, David, we need to get to that checklist. So everybody, if you're just tuning in, I have here with me David Cook. He is a home inspector with Paragon Inspections. And we're now going to give you David's list of what you must ask when you're considering hiring a home inspector to help you to learn about a property that you're about to purchase, to make sure you understand all the ins and outs, that you truly walk through with a home inspector, which I'm a big believer in, David. I feel that, to me, the inspector's job really also is to not just show what is really relevant about the home. There could be good things and bad things, but to teach you where the actual outside taps are, to teach you, where the actually how you turn this off, turn that off. Is there under cabinet in the kitchen actual water tap, shut off valves? I mean, to me, they should show you all that. How does this furnace really work? Is there an HVAC system? So when you move into the home, you actually know how to work the thing.
That's what a home inspector's job should be, to help educate you, not just here's a report, go read it in the corner
and
by yourself.
Figure it out.
Try
to. And do you want to move forward on this purchase or not? Yeah.
Okay.
That's
right.
All right. Well, then let's do this. Let's go through your checklist when hiring a home inspector. Here we go. Number one, you say, ask the question, what is your background? So you're, of course, saying you want to make sure that they have the experience.
Exactly. If somebody tells you that they've got virtually no construction experience and they're making a professional call on not just 4 walls anymore, a house is put together as a system now. It is very complicated. So the home inspector needs to understand that. So he should have some sort of background in this field.
Absolutely.
Actually, what I tell home inspectors, especially if they call me up and say, I want to be trained as a home inspector, do you have background in construction? When they say no, I tell them to work for something like Habitat for Humanity. That will benefit a lot of people there. Get some actual hands-on experience.
I love that idea, Dave. And of course, we're a huge supporter of Habitat for Humanity here on the Real Estate Talk Show as well. Number 2, you say, ask how long have you been inspecting and how many inspections have you done?
That's right. So everybody does have to start somewhere. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I did 10 years ago. So if your home inspector is only doing his first home inspection, that might be something to give some serious thought to. And to me, everybody does have to start off.
Yeah, and if they're starting, maybe they should actually just be more of that apprentice role, right? Where,
correct.
You know, if they were to shadow somebody.
That's what we do encourage.
Okay.
We call it mentoring in the profession.
Yeah.
And we do encourage every want-to-be inspector to go out with an experienced inspector. That's where franchises have the advantage because they do get to train that way. I started off that way myself, moved on to a single person system.
Very good. All right. Number 3, you want to ask, what kind of training do you have?
And that is where, as I said before, the only recognized education today is the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors. There is another private company, one that is very recognized in this industry, and actually he was one of the founding members of the OHI, was Alan Carson with a company called Carson Dunlop.
Okay.
They are very good. Do you maybe community colleges? But if you go online, and if somebody tells you they got their exam online, my wife got that exam online, 24 minutes. She passed with 96%.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4, do you belong to a union or association?
There are many that are totally independent.
Okay.
However, an association should give you some sort of credentials. And like I said, at this point, the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors, the OAHI, is the only one recognized in Ontario.
All right. I like this one. Number 5, what other jobs do you have? So you want to make sure they're exclusively focusing their business on doing home inspections. That should be their career.
Job.
Yeah.
That's hard work. I'm not getting a job. I'm only doing inspections. That can keep me from having to get a real job. And really, if it's a hobby or a secondary job, are they focused in on
now, a valid point. Number 6, can I come on the inspection? I think we touched upon that before. We believe that certainly as a homeowner or a person that's potentially about to purchase a home, you want to be there as the home inspector's doing what they need to do for you, right?
As you use the word, to be educated.
All right. Number 7, of course, is you want to ask roughly how long does the inspection take? So somebody that's seasoned, of course, it doesn't mean that it should be less because they know what they're doing. The same amount of time and consideration should be taken on each home. But I'm sure we can say that some home that's 7,000 square foot is going to take a lot longer than something that's 12,000 or 1,200 square feet.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. Then
book in about 3 hours.
So 3 hours is the time frame. All right. And then of course number 8, are you insured? We already went through that, but that's key.
It should be. Yes.
All right. And you're saying about 70% of inspectors are not insured.
Currently, that seems to be my figures.
So even more reason to ask. And the last but not least, number 9, what is the cost of an inspection, which you said already, roughly the average is about $300?
It's around $350 to $400. CMHC actually said $600 a couple of years ago. I haven't checked this year at all.
Okay.
But it should be count on around $400 in that vicinity. So if somebody gives you a $200 price, why is it so low? And
then I guess if you're in areas of rural where you're dealing with septics, and certainly there's more required to be able to do well inspections. So of course the value can go up, understandably so.
Yes, and those may be even specialized inspections for those specific situations.
Very good. Well, David, a wealth of information. So tell everybody, how can they get a hold of you? So when they need to have a qualified home inspector for the next home purchase, they can reach out to you directly.
My personal website is paragoninspections.com.
Okay.
My phone number is 705-790-3013. If I do not answer as soon as which I will not if I'm with a client because this is their time, but as soon as I'm done, I will call back because to me, you need information.
Yeah, very good. So you're accessible is what you're saying. And this is your full-time job.
This is my, full-time, but I haven't figured out if it's a job yet.
You love what you do?
I do love it.
Excellent.
Yes.
David Cook, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. So you have questions, of course, for David or for us here at the Real Estate Talk Show. Make sure you visit realestatetalkshow.ca or call our help desk anytime at 844-ASK-RETS. That's 844-ASK-RETS. We'll be right back.